Battle through the firmament. Great world. Chapter 427. A crisis quietly approaching. That's more like it. Shang Hao involuntarily laughed toward the sky when he heard this. The origin key in his hand also quietly disappeared. This fellow was quite tactful. The Southern Sky Academy has admitted defeat. The winner is the Star Sky Academy. Under the arena, a giant python with a scarlet and green body curled up its huge body. Its lantern-sized eyes sparkled with a frightening light. When it saw the situation on the arena, it slowly opened its mouth and spoke with a voice that sounded like muffled thunder. "Thank you for letting me win. Thank you for letting me win." Hearing the giant python open its mouth, Shang Hao couldn't help but be overjoyed. He cupped his hands toward Liu Yanchao and said hypocritically. Liu Yanchao remained silent. The pain that came from his arm was far less than the pain in his heart. "Brat of the Star Sky Academy, let me bring you to the top." The giant python stood up straight. It was dozens of meters long, and its waist was as thick as a bucket. It seemed to be able to break rocks and boulders. As its body twisted, the ground even cracked open. As it spoke, the giant python rose up and flew toward the peak. Behind it, Shang Hao's eyes were filled with joy. Without looking at Liu Yanchao, he flapped the origin key wings on his back and followed the giant python. Under the lead of the giant python, the confinement between heaven and earth seemed to disappear, and it flew straight toward the peak. Damn it! Seeing Shang Hao leaving, Liu Yanchao let out a low roar. His legs gave out and he sat down on the arena. His fist suddenly smashed onto the ground, and in an instant, numerous cracks appeared on the ground. At the same time, blood also flowed out from the surface of his fist. The heart-piercing pain crazily eroded the former's nerves, causing Liu Yanchao to involuntarily suck in a breath of cold air. Only this kind of pain could temporarily numb the pain in his heart. "Let's go down the mountain." While Liu Yanchao was gnashing his teeth in anger, another lion-shaped heavenly beast jumped onto the arena, its voice cold. A trace of despair flashed across Liu Yanchao's eyes when he heard this. He was silent for a moment before finally getting up. He looked at the peak with a complicated gaze and sighed. He shook his head helplessly. The lion-shaped heavenly beast faced the sky and let out a light roar. The huge bone wings on its back flapped, and it flew down the mountain first. Liu Yanchao's face was gloomy. He jumped up and followed the lion-shaped heavenly beast toward the foot of the mountain. These guys from the Star Sky Academy are harder to deal with than the last. Liu Yanchao followed behind the lion-shaped heavenly beast with an ugly expression on his face. He kept recalling the scene of his fight with Shang Hao. In just 10 exchanges, he had lost all ability to defend himself. Although Shang Hao's strength was at the 7th Monarch Emperor, his strength was at the peak of the 6th Monarch Emperor, and he had been completely defeated. I have to find a way to let Zhou Buyi know. Otherwise, the remaining 3 academies will be completely wiped out this time. Liu Yanchao's eyes sparkled. He lowered his head and remained silent. Roar! Suddenly, a miserable roar was transmitted from in front of him. It suddenly disrupted Liu Yanchao's train of thought. Before the latter could raise his head, boiling hot fresh blood swept over and landed on Liu Yanchao's body. Liu Yanchao looked in front of him in shock. At this moment, the head of the lion-shaped heavenly beast had been separated from its body. Hot blood sputtered out from its neck. Its originally ferocious eyes had already turned to ashes. There was no longer any aura in them. In front of it, there was a middle-aged man in white with white hair that hung loosely on his shoulders. His face was expressionless as he stretched out his 5 fingers. There were sharp nails on his nails, and his entire palm was covered in blood. In front of him, the huge body of the lion-shaped heavenly beast fell down. The pungent blood should have attracted countless spirit beasts hidden underground, but when the corpse fell to the ground, none of the spirit beasts appeared. "You, who are you?" Liu Yanchao's body trembled as he looked at the middle-aged man in horror. What kind of strength was this? How could he kill an Emperor cultivation level heavenly beast on the spot? "Hey, The middle-aged man acted as if he didn't hear Liu Yanchao's question. He looked at his 5 fingers like a tiger and wolf. His eyes were filled with surprise. After merging with the power of the giant ape, his strength had increased tremendously. The cultivation technique given to him by the old ancestor was indeed powerful. Seeing that the middle-aged man didn't answer, Liu Yanchao's facial expression changed drastically. He suddenly turned around and rushed toward the peak of the mountain. His forehead was covered with sweat, and his heart was trembling. He seemed to have thought of something. What kind of danger was hidden in this competition? Trying to run away. The sound of Liu Yanchao leaving startled the middle-aged man. A green light flashed across the middle-aged man's eyes. The corner of his mouth revealed a cruel smile. His body flashed and appeared in front of Liu Yanchao in the blink of an eye like a gentle breeze. The middle-aged man was like a bloodthirsty lone wolf in front of the latter's shocked eyes. He quietly revealed his sharp teeth. Who? Xiaoyan suddenly woke up from his rest. He looked around at Wu Shaoqi and Lin Dao, who was still resting. He pursed his lips, shook his head, and sighed lightly. For some reason, he suddenly felt a trace of panic in his heart. Xiaoyan, what's wrong? Ma Huyang, who had regained his senses, noticed Xiaoyan's unusual behavior and spoke softly. Nothing. Maybe I've been using my soul power a little tiredly these few days. Xiaoyan revealed a smile and rubbed the acupoints of the sun. Thank you for your hard work. In order to find the battle command, everyone has been tired these past few days. Upon hearing this, Ma Huyang lightly nodded his head and slowly said, "There's no other way. This mountain range is really too big. It's really too difficult to find a battle command. Being able to find one is already considered good luck." Xiaoyan leaned against the tree trunk and looked at the broken sky through the dense layers of tree branches. These few days, even he couldn't hold on any longer. Not only did he have to be careful of any danger that might appear in his surroundings at any time, he also had to constantly use his soul force to search his surroundings. This kind of tense days was too torturous. I wonder how Zhu Tianhou is doing. Can I see him at the top of the mountain? Shaking his head, Xiaoyan changed the topic. Since all of you think he has the strength, then believe that he will win. Taking a step back, even if we lose, we still have a battle command. If we use it well, we can make up for our loss this time. Ma Huyang seemed to be rather carefree as he said indifferently, "Senior Mu, do you have any special feelings?" Upon hearing this, Xiaoyan smiled and nodded his head. After pondering for a moment, he suddenly said in a soft voice, "What?" Ma Huyang looked at Xiaoyan and frowned slightly. Before the competition, everyone said that there were countless forbidden places in Star Moon Island. The night before yesterday, those men from the purple-robed Marquis broke into this mountain range and all of them died here. We have so many people here, and we have been exploring this mountain range for more than 10 days. Why haven't we seen the so-called forbidden area? Xiaoyan pondered for a moment, and then voiced out the doubts in his heart. We have only passed by a little bit. Since it's a forbidden area, it should be hidden somewhere. Besides, if we enter the forbidden area, with our strength, will we be able to come out alive? Ma Huyang couldn't help but laugh when he heard this. The branch in his hand lightly knocked on the ground. Secret place. Xiaoyan didn't say anything after hearing this. He had talked to the Xiaoao before. The latter's description of this place was that there were dangers everywhere, and every step they took was frightening. There was no reason why after they started the competition, all the forbidden areas on this mountain disappeared. Unless, Xiaoyan's expression suddenly changed. He looked around, blinked, and said slowly, "Unless those old men are Star Domain Guardian." What? Ma Huyang was startled when he heard this. Even with his mental state, he could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. That's impossible. All the Star Domain Guardians are above the heavens. Unless something that endangers the Star Domain happens, it won't be easy for them to descend to the lower realm. Furthermore, do you think that a competition of our level will attract the Star Domain Guardians to descend? He came back to his senses. Ma Huyang's voice was heavy as he denied it. Oh. Xiaoyan frowned when he heard this. What Ma Huyang said was not unreasonable. Did he guess wrong? Blinking his eyes, Xiaoyan gently closed his eyes. In that case, where did that inexplicable feeling of shock in his heart come from? Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.